everyone. So today we are discussing the Fault in Our Stars movie, which was amazing. Words cannot express how much I love this movie, but I'm going to attempt to put it in words for you guys because I want to share my thoughts and tell you how much I loved it. And if I use the words amazing and loved it so much a lot, I probably will. And if I do, I apologize. But I'm not actually sorry. When I get excited, my vocabulary becomes very limited. That's just the sad truth. And so yeah, I actually have a headache this morning, and that's probably because I was crying so much last night when I saw the movie, and I don't regret it. I regret nothing. There were so many wet tissues after I saw this movie. Like, I just had a ball of wet tissues from my face, and my face was all splotchy, and my makeup was running, and my eyes were puffy, and I just had candy, and I was trying to console myself by eating candy. Have you guys had the Sour Patch Kids with the blue Sour Patch Kids in them? Because the blue Sour Patch Kids are my new favorite thing. Anyways, it deserves so much more than 5 out of 5 stars. It deserves 1,000,000 stars because it's just amazing. If I were to give it 5 out of 5 stars, it wouldn't do the story justice. It wouldn't give it as much praise as it deserves. It stayed so true to the book, and I was so happy about that because it is a standalone. It's not a series. There is no room for error in the sense that they might want to tweak it here and there, and it's going to be a series, so they need to think of the long haul, and they need to make it the way that it best fits for more than one movie. This was just a standalone, and they could do so much good or so much bad, and they went the good route, and I'm so happy about it. The rest of my discussion is kind of spoilery, but only if you haven't read the book. If you haven't read the book, then first of all, why haven't you read the book? That's stupid. Sorry, but if you haven't read the book yet, you are missing out. Go, first of all, stop, press pause, go read the book. Go buy it, read it. Then you can come back and listen, or you can come back and see the movie. Just go see the movie. It was perfect. But yes, if you haven't read the book, then you might not want to listen to this part because it is pretty spoilery. But if you have read the book, do not fear. I am not spoiling anything about the movie. I'm not talking about things that were different. I'm not talking about things they added that I liked or disliked. I'm not talking about any of that. There was some of that, but I won't say what it was. I just want to talk about things that were in the book that I did like that also were in the movie, and how I felt that they did with those scenes. So don't worry. I loved the scene. This is going to sound really morbid, but the scene where Hazel breaks down after they get the call that Augustus died. And the reason I loved it was because of the raw emotion that came from Shailene. As an actress, in my opinion, Shailene doesn't show very much raw emotion. She's a good actress. I love Shailene. She's a great person, a great actress, but you don't really see that raw emotion from her. I feel like most of the time she is acting, and you can tell she's acting. But you could tell that in this scene, there was some kind of raw emotion. It came from somewhere because she broke down. And it was a hard scene to watch, but a very awesome experience because it was awesome to see that raw emotion come from her and to just see her break down and cry. And that's something I loved about this movie, was that you actually did see so much raw emotion come from both Ansel and Shailene. They both really embraced their characters and showed so much raw emotion, and I'm gonna talk about more of those scenes because they were some of my favorite scenes. Most of them were very sad, but they were just some of my favorite scenes because of their emotion, like in Peter Van Houten's house when he's being a total douchebag to them, and I was getting pissed at him. Like when Hazel called him douche pants, that was the funniest thing I've ever. Does she call him douche pants in the book? Because I haven't read the book in a while and I need to reread, but I'm kind of scared to reread. So if she doesn't and I just spoiled that, then I'm sorry. But it's not like a major spoiler, it's just a word that she calls Peter Van Houten when he's being mean to them. But anyways, she gets so mad and she knocks a drink out of his hand and he says there is no ending, they're just fictional characters, and she's like, then make something up. That scene, I just kind of sat there and just, well, obviously I was just sitting there staring at the screen, but I kind of just reflected and was like, whoa, that scene was so raw. And I loved Divergent, I loved Shailene as Tris, but I didn't ever get that feeling. I didn't ever get the, whoa, that was real emotion. And I got that so much in this movie. Another scene was Gus's pre-funeral when Hazel is talking and giving her eulogy, and Ansel and Shailene start crying. Well, Hazel and Gus. They start crying, and it was just so nice to watch because it made me cry, and it was so sad, but it was so well done, and I just loved it. And it's really morbid that most of my favorite scenes were the sad scenes, but I have to say they were just so well done and so amazing, and those actors channeled something raw. It was emotion. It wasn't them acting at that point. It was something deeper, and it was so awesome. But don't worry, as we all know, the book is very humorous and it's very cute and funny, and it's not all sad, and the movie wasn't either. There were lots of times where I was laughing hysterically. Even I had just been crying and something made me laugh. Like the beginning when they're in the literal heart of Jesus, like that whole scene was so funny. And when Gus asks Hazel if she's spent her wish on going to Disney, and she's like, I was 13, I was gonna die, blah, blah, blah. And you just start laughing because it's so cute. And that's another thing, the chemistry between Ansel and Shailene as Hazel and Gus was awesome. I am so surprised because I know that most people are like, oh, they're actors, obviously they can go from one role to another, but I was very skeptical because they did play brother and sister in Divergent, and I wasn't degrading their acting. I think they're great actors. I didn't question whether they could pull it off. I questioned whether the audience would believe it, and they did. Not once was there a doubt that they were Hazel and Gus, and it was very relieving. It was very relieving to get that, because you're just, it was a worry. And I know obviously they're actors and they can do it, but at the same time they're two blockbuster films and they play two people, and both of them with such different relationships, and I was just worried. But I do love both of them and I think they're both awesome actors, so I'm relieved but not very surprised. One of my favorite things in the movie was like all the iconic quotes that were in the book that they put in the movie. Like when they go to Amsterdam and they drink the champagne and the waiter says that he bottled all the stars for them. That was so sweet, and I actually started crying because I just got emotional because it was so sweet and I just can't deal with it. There was too much emotion in this. It brought up too many feels. My feels were all over the place during this whole thing. I don't even know. I'm a mess. I am a mess. But anyways, also another quote that made me cry. It's probably my favorite quote in that book. And it's, you gave me a forever within the numbered days, and for that I'm eternally grateful. I started bawling like a baby. I knew it was coming, but I still wasn't prepared. And it got me. Another quote that I really liked was, pain demands to be felt, and obviously that one was in there because it's in An Imperial Affliction, which, why can't that book be a real thing? John Green needs to write An Imperial Affliction because I want to read that book. He talked about it so much in the book and you just want to read it. am I the only one that wants to read an imperial fiction? Because I'm pretty sure I'm not. I'm pretty sure everybody wants to read an imperial fiction, because I don't know why I would want to torture myself like that, because from what Gus and Hazel say, it ends abruptly, and it sucks that it ends abruptly. But I'd want to torture myself. Maybe I like to torture myself. Did you ever think of that? Probably not. But anyways, moving on. Perhaps okay will be our always was another quote that I really liked, and it was just nice to see. It made the movie feel more like the book to have all those quotes in there. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised that they were in there, which I'm not really surprised they were in there. I don't know. That was something I really liked. Like, every time one came up, I was like, oh, I love that. It was so cute. Okay, now, obviously, I love this movie. I've been saying I love it every 2 seconds, but there are a couple little things that I disliked. There were some quotes that were left out. I will not tell you which ones in case you have not seen the movie yet. But there were a couple. And it was a little disappointing, but it didn't take away from the movie. And that's something that I really enjoyed. The movie had a nice flow, and I think that if they had tried to put every single quote in there, the movie wouldn't have flowed as well. It would have seemed forced. And I really enjoyed the movie as a whole, and I don't think that it took away from the movie. It was just like, at the end I was like, oh, they didn't say that. And then after like 2 seconds I got over it and started crying again. Another thing that I disliked was how much they played up the okay thing. Obviously that's a very big part of the book, and it needed to be a big part of the movie, because Gus says perhaps okay will be our always, like when Isaac and Monica are just like being gross and being like always, always, always. But I thought that maybe it was played up a little too much. I thought that it became a focus of the movie when it shouldn't have. And it was a big part of their marketing campaign too, which is probably another reason why it was played up so much. And I don't know, I just thought that however minor my dislikes are, they were there. And there were little things that I caught that I just didn't really like too much, but they're very minor, and it didn't make me love the movie any less. So, dare I say that Shailene and Ansel are a cuter couple than Shailene and Theo. And, I mean, I like Hazel and Gus better than I like Tristan and Tobias, but Shailene and Ansel are awesome together. And I didn't really like Shailene and Theo as much. And dare I also say that Ansel is better than Theo. I like Ansel better. I actually met Ansel, and he was the cutest person ever. He's like a little puppy dog, and I asked him for a picture, and he gave me that little half smile, and he just nodded at me, and I like melted because he was so adorable. I love him, and he signed my copy of Divergent because I met him at a Divergent movie screening. But whatever, he's adorable, and I love him way more than I love Theo. And I actually love Shailene as well. She seems like a very awesome person. I have not met her, but she seems like such a down-to-earth person, and like a very good person to be a role model. To me, she's like another Jennifer Lawrence, and I'm not saying they're the same at all, because they're two very different actresses and two very different people, but they are two women actresses in the industry that are getting a lot of hype right now, and they deserve all the hype they're getting, because not only are they great actresses, they're down to earth, they're funny, they're nice, they are not pretentious. They are very humble despite all of the hype they are getting in the movie industry right now, and I respect them for that, and I think that it really makes the fans love them even more. That's part of what makes them so awesome. Long story short though, this movie destroyed my feels. Like, they're still like, they haven't like realigned, so like my feels are all over the place right now. I'm probably gonna start spontaneously crying after I stop filming. No, I won't. I need to edit. That's what I need to do. I need to go. See, that's what happens. My feels are just don't know what's happening to me today. I'm a mess. But yes, all the feels. This movie was so amazing, and I loved it so much, and everybody needs to see it because it's awesome and it deserves everything. Yes, everything. It was so good. So just, guys, go see it. Go see it right now. And if you have seen it, go see it again. And then reread the book and then go see it again. And just keep going and seeing it until it's out of theaters. And then when it comes out on DVD, watch it a billion more times. That's what I'm going to do. So yeah. I would do that. I would do that if I wasn't in LA right now and movie tickets weren't $16. $16. Who pays $16 for a movie ticket? That's ridiculous. That's so ridiculous. But anyways, okay, I'm going to stop talking now. I'm going to go. Okay? Okay.